Thank you for joining us. This is Darlene Knight with Jewelry by BDK for JBBDK Business Tips. And let's get started. This presentation is about visibility tips that work, how artisans can get seen, get sales, and grow their brand. And that's one of the most difficult things for artisans. How, what, where can I sell? So we make these beautiful pieces, no matter what it is. If it's jewelry, if it's woodwork, if it's dolls, if it's candles, if it's tables, if it's fans, if it's diaper bags, no matter what it is that we make, the objective in the end is to sell what it is that we make. And we can't sell it if it's not visible. Right? So that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about. Why visibility matters. If people don't know you exist, guess what? They can't buy from you. If they don't know that your brand or your business exists, they cannot buy from you. Visibility builds trust, it builds authority, and it builds community. People buy from brands they feel connected to. So if they don't feel connected to you by way of social media, by way of you participating and vending at different events, and you become familiar, maybe at a farmer's market, at an art festival, at, these different places, there's no connection, right? And people generally only buy from brands that they're familiar with or they're connected to. And a real cool stat is 80% of consumers are more likely to purchase from a brand they follow on social media. So if you're not a brand on social media, or you are a brand on social media, right? You have to present yourself as a trusted authority who produces quality. Everything is about quality. What is visibility in business? Well, let's talk about it. Visibility equals being seen by the right people in the right places consistently. And here's where a lot of businesses kind of fall short, because we think we can just show up, we can post a couple of posts, we can throw up some prices, we can do these things and never come back, 6 months down the line and then repost. Well, that doesn't work. People are really smart. People are very careful about buying, especially online or from a social platform or anything like that. So you have to be consistent. It's almost like a man-woman type relationship. If she just shows up every once in a while, but he's wanting a solid long-term relationship, he's not going to keep doing that with her, and she's not going to keep doing that with him. You have to be consistent. And if you're not consistent, that only shows me that more than likely you're not serious about your business or your brand. And then chances are you're a fly-by-night type of business. And it's not about being everywhere. It's about showing up with purpose. For me, the not being everywhere really does mean not being everywhere. However, you can be in most places. So most places might be, for some people, Facebook, Instagram, website, Pinterest, YouTube. You don't necessarily have to be on TikTok or a lot of these other platforms, that we hear about. Pick the ones that make sense for you. Pick the ones where you believe that your market is, and be consistent. Show up often on those different platforms, because you do have to have a social media presence. And I talk about this all the time in a lot of other videos. You have to have a social presence in order to be what's considered a legitimate business or brand. So the first thing that people generally do is if you want to collaborate, if you want to do business with another, with a business to business type situation, or you want to do white labeling or private labeling or anything like such, the first thing that potential buyer or collaborator is going to do is go online and check out your social media presence. They're going to look for your Facebook, your Instagram, your website. Are you on YouTube? It's like, okay, are you TikToking? It's like, where are you? So when they go and they search you out and they see that your brand is visible, you can go on Google and go through images or anywhere. Jewelry by BDK is like kind of all over the place. pretty saturated, right? And the reason why I do that is so that potential business partners or collaborators, they can get a feel for Jewelry by BDK. They can get a feel for the personality of the brand. They can get some insight to who the designer and the owner is. And you have to have that social media presence. You can even build your presence up on your website, which will yield website traffic. So if you have videos on your website, you have reels on your website, you have photos on your websites where you're doing vending events, or you're taking pictures of your process, your creative process and things like such, that too can help build web traffic on your website. And also email engagement. People kind of fall short with email engagement. I don't know why. They think it's like obsolete. It's really not obsolete, as long as you're not wearing it out. You're not sending people too many emails in a short period of time. So a monthly newsletter or a monthly digital magazine is like the coolest thing and the most efficient professional thing that you can do to make people aware of your brand and your business. Event exposure. Don't be afraid to go to events. Pick out those events, research those events, find out what the foot traffic is like. A good thing to do for events, any event that you're considering going to, you always want to go to that organizer's website. And generally what happens is they will have the previous year's images from that previous year's event. Look at the pictures from the previous year, and that will give you some type of indicator what you can expect for this upcoming year's event. And what they generally do is when they take the pictures at the busiest time is when they walk around and take those pictures. So if at the busiest time you see that there's a handful of people or not a lot of people, or don't see people walking with bags, that's not a good sign that people are buying. It's a telltale story in those pictures. So check out the pictures. Do a little research for each one of those events that you're wanting to maybe attend and vend at, and then make sure that it makes sense for you. It doesn't make sense to go pay $200, $300, $400 at an event, and that event is not compatible with your product. That's something you don't want to do. And also word of mouth. Word of mouth could either kill your brand or help build your brand up. That's why we always want to produce and distribute quality. Always, always quality. The visibility growth formula. Let's talk about it. Number one, clarity. Know who you're talking to. You have to know who you're talking to, who you're selling to. And what exactly does that mean? That means, am I talking to myself? Am I talking to the young lady at my doctor's office when I walk in and she's the medical assistant? Am I talking to her? Am I talking to the little old lady that lives next door to me? Am I talking to that executive professional and LPL when I walk into LPL so I can have a discussion about my investments? Am I talking to her? Am I talking to the young lady that works at the grocery store who's a cashier? Who are you talking to? Who is your customer? That is what you have to figure out. Is it the 8-year-old? Is it the 15-year-old? Is it the 30-year-old? Is it the 45-year-old? Content. Show up with value. Once you know and understand who you are talking to or who your market is, show up with value for whoever that person is that you're talking to. And then you want to be consistent. Consistency is key. Be present regularly. And I think here is where a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs kind of fall short. We think that we can post and we can show up this day and like really go hard and, not show up again for another 6 months. That is not how businesses work. You have to show up. You have to be present. You have to say, okay, this is what this is. This is real to me, is important to me. So I'm going to show up regularly. And number 4 is connection. Engage with real people. That's where a lot of vending comes into place. If you want to start out like doing vending, you want to engage with people. And not only just engage with people in public, like on your social media, there's ways that you can do like Zoom. And then number 5 is call us to action. Tell people what to do next. Tell people what to do next. We assume that every person knows what to do. and they really don't know what to do, especially when they're trying to figure things out. When they're trying to figure things out, they don't know your process. Your process is not clear. Your call to action is not clear. It's like, oh, okay, I like everything about this, but what am I supposed to do next? So you do want to make sure that all your calls of actions are very clear and you're letting people know exactly what you want them to do. Show your process. Let people see the hands and heart behind your work. People love behind the scenes content, be it in pictures and videos more so, but they love to see the behind the scene process. Post ideas like time-lapse videos of your making process, tool setups, or workspace tours. That's a really good one because a lot of people that are just kind of getting into handmade product that they're getting into, many times they don't have a studio set up or their workspace set up. So they're looking for ideas and they're looking for like special tools and these type things. So if you're already set up and you're organized and you have your workspace, decorated and like you want it, that would be a really good something to post in pictures or as video. People really do like video. Start to finish product creation. So start creating something and then show the complete process. And that's where those YouTube videos come in at, okay? Mistakes or behind the scenes moments. People love this. They love this because it shows the realness behind the creator, the realness behind the artisan. Why, you say, Miss Darlene? Because it builds trust and shows authenticity. And that's what people are looking for. People are looking for realness. There's so much fakeness and so much scamming and things going on online. People need you to be a real person. And by being a real person, they want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see the real you. They want to see, hey, show us that you're a real person and your brand. Let us see what you are doing. And you don't have to give your whole life. You don't have to be a reality show, but there are things that you want to show behind the scenes and do little tours and special little videos and reels and things for your people. Leverage social proof. We just kind of talked about this. Authenticity. People want to see that you are a real person. You are doing what it is that you said that you are doing. People want to see that others love your work. What to share. Testimonials are really cool. Testimonials, unboxing videos or customer photos, retail store placements or pop-up highlights, user-generated content, repost with permission. If you get a customer that buys something or a retailer that buys from you at wholesale, and they can send you pictures once they put the product in their store or the customer is wearing your product or they're displaying your product or something like such. Ask them, hey, can you send me images? And then make sure that you get permission to repost those images. Quick tip, ask customers to also tag you when they post. That's a really good thing too, to tag you when they post on any one of their social platforms. Use video to your advantage. I cannot stress how important video is and how video is literally taking over. Video is almost like being there. You want to create reels, TikTok videos, shorts for YouTube. And what happens with this is there is a high reach potential, plus your personality gets to be seen. Not only your product, but your personality. Video ideas for artisans would be packaging and order with me. Quick DIY tutorials, and I do a lot of this on my YouTube channel. Product styling ideas, what inspires your pieces, voiceovers with your story or tips. And those are just some ideas for artisans, like if you want to get started doing some YouTube videos, or if you want to get started doing some reels, some TikToks, some shorts. Those are just some quick ideas that I could think of, off the top of my head. Really simple, really easy things to do. And just a quick tip, keep it short, keep it clear, and scroll stopping. And that takes a minute. That's not immediate to kind of figure these things out. Like with these videos, what part should I show? What part should I not show? It takes a minute, for you to figure it out. But there's nothing like getting in there, getting started, trying it out, and then building from that point. And then let's talk about collaborate for cross exposure. Collaborate for cross exposure. Partner with other makers or artisans, local businesses. And if you're trying to partner with local businesses, there is a whole pitch process that comes in with that. There is a ebook on my website at www.jbbdk.com, and that ebook has 20 professional pitch letters in there that you can look at. You can look at the wording. You can use them as they are, or you can revise them. So it does take a little process if you're trying to, pitch to local businesses, stylists, influencers, retailers, or such, right? That's a little process with that one. And why it works, you get introduced to new pre-qualified audiences. They're pre-qualified audiences, meaning that when you collaborate with whoever it is that you're wanting to collaborate with, they approve and they say, yes, we can do this. You're getting introduced to their already in place audience, and that audience respects, appreciates that entity that you are collaborating with. And that's good stuff right there. Pinterest for long-term visibility. I think people kind of forget about Pinterest. I don't know why. It's a very usable and valuable platform. It's a visual platform. And for some reason, a lot of people just forget about Pinterest. But Pinterest is that rich auntie that you forget to call when you need to borrow some money, right? But that's how Pinterest is. Pinterest works like a visual search engine, and it does. It's ideal for artists, jewelers, and crafters. And you can pin like product shots, behind the scenes photos, tutorials, or blog posts. And the cool thing about this is too, with Pinterest, you can also you can add links. So once you put the images in there, you're able to also add links, and those links can go to like any one of your social platforms. That link can go to your website. So it's a rich auntie. It's a really wealthy auntie that we don't call when we need money, but we need to call. Okay. So just think about that. And also build and use your email list. Email lists have kind of gotten a bad rap, and they kind of got a bad rap because people overuse it. So email is one of the highest converting tools, and it really truly is. Every time I use email marketing, I do really well when I use email marketing. Anytime I send anything out, the response is very good, is very well. People sign up for my email, for my digital magazines all the time, for promotional emails and all that good stuff. But for me, I don't overuse it. I might send things out once a month, every once in a while, might be twice a month. You want to share behind the scenes updates, new product launches, early access or VIP promos. Use lead magnets, get 10% off your first order, or free guide to handmade care. And I do send out, I do a lot here and there with free downloads for my business ebook. So I do a lot of that. And also a pro tip, start with one email per month and grow from there. When I say grow from there, one, maybe two per month, and make sure it's a good, solid email. It's not nonsense. It's not, simple stuff where it's intrusive to people. Make sure it's a valuable email that you're sending out. Oh, I just feel like sending out an email today. No, we don't want to do that. We want to make sure it's always value and it's always quality. Optimize product listings for SEO. This is a hot one because I see people write their descriptions, their product titles, and they look like they don't have very much thought into them, but all that makes a big difference. Whether you're on Etsy, it's your website, or if you're selling on Faire, the Faire.com wholesale website, which is a platform I would suggest that any artisan look into, research it, see if you can get approved so that you can sell wholesale on that Faire.com website. There's a link in the description below there. You can click on that and go over to the Faire.com and sign up if you have a website. And then also on my website at www.jbbdk.com, there is a free downloadable document that tells you everything about Faire, everything you need to know about Faire. And then also product titles. You want to be very specific about product titles, about your descriptions, your tags. And then there's something that's called image alt text, where you can go ahead and add extra text in there, and that picks up for individuals who are not able to see. So there's text that comes through. I forget what their machines are called, but it's for those, for individuals who are not able to see. Tools that can help you out, and there's some listed here. You can go through and just kind of pick one and see if they make sense for you, and then just kind of go from there. And if they don't work for you, just do some research and find some other tools. Also, go offline to get seen. Join local artists and markets. Teach a workshop. Host an open studio day. Send your line sheet to a boutique. So with the line sheet, not only would you be sending a line sheet, that's where that pitch letter comes in. You want to have a pitch letter. You want to have a line sheet. There's like this whole packet that goes with pitching to like boutiques and cruise ships and cultural institutions and amusement parks and hospital gift shop. There's like this whole pitch packet that goes along with that. So not just a line sheet. You want to leave branded postcards at coffee shops if you can. Make sure you get permission, or salons. Get permission. Salons are a really good place too, depending on what your product is. If you make any type of herbal hair solutions, it could be shampoo, it could be oil for the hair, anything like that. Salons would be a pretty good place to market those products, even collaborating with the owner to say, hey, we could just try my product out if you want to, see how it works. And if it works, maybe we can collab, and you can buy from me wholesale, or I can put the product in and then you get a percentage of whatever is sold. So there are ways to do things. Visibility isn't just online. Show up in your local community as well. That may mean sometime volunteering at other different events that have nothing to do with what your brand is all about. However, the networking allows you to be able to build rapport, relationships, and that will allow you to be able to communicate about what it is that you do, who you are, and who your brand is. So it's not always about selling. It's not always about popping up somewhere to sell. It's about building hopefully relationships and building this strong network and community of individuals who are familiar with your brand, who are familiar with your business, and that in turn helps you grow. Because remember, people generally buy from people that they like. People usually do business with people that they like. And if they see you as an authority, guess what? One thing leads to something else, and then before you know it, you're growing like you never thought that you could. So all of that makes a difference. Engage with your audience. This is like really important. I see a lot of small businesses and brands where they may have community that will make posts, or like they're really engaged, but the artisan or the business owner never replies. Nobody ever replies. Nobody ever says anything. That's almost like two people standing, or you walk into a business and you're asking that business owner questions, and the business owner is just standing there looking at you and not saying a word to you, but you have something in your hand that you want to buy, and you're still trying to ask questions about whatever that is, but yet the owner is not saying anything to you. At some point, people are just going to stop coming. People are going to just stop commenting. And, that's not good stuff, and that's not how you build a brand or a business. Reply to every comment and direct message if you can. If you can't, okay, cool. Make sure you say that in a post. Make sure you say that in your email. Make sure you say that on a video, but let people know that is a form of communication. That is a form of healthy communication, when you can communicate back, hey, I see the comments, I got the direct messages, I got all the DMs, I got it all, and I do apologize. There are so many, I am not able to answer them all at one time. However, I do see that there's about 30 of the questions, 30 of the comments are the same. So I'm doing this video to answer those questions, right? So you have to communicate to people in that way that your potential community or your solid community does not feel, dismissed. Ask questions and captions. Host a poll or quiz in stories. Share customer stories. That's a really good one. Share customer stories. The more you interact, the more people see you and remember you. And that's what it's all about, because remember, we're building a rapport. We're building relationships. We're building a community of people. And people generally buy from people that they like, people that they know, people who's in authority, and a real person. They want a real person. Be consistent, not perfect, because none of us are perfect. However, we do be striving for perfection. And a lot of times that will hold us back and that will stagnate us, because we will go over something 1,000 times. That's like with this video. In the beginning of the video, I know I made some hiccups, but my whole thing is, if I turn the camera off, if I turn the recorder off and then go back, I'm going to keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. So my whole thing is, if there's some hiccups in the video, just know that none of this is perfect. I'm going to do the best that I could do with these video recordings. And I'm going to make sure that the presentations are the best that I can do, but nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. And I guarantee you, if anything is perfect in the way of recordings or presentations, those people are doing them things probably 1,000 times, more than likely 1,000 times. However, we're just not practicing that over here. I'm going to do the best I can to try to present you with a quality, and we're just going to go from there. You don't have to post every day. You do not have to post every day. Now, if you want to post every day, post every day. You just have to show up regularly, be real, and stay aligned with your brand. That is all that it's about. Plan a simple weekly content rhythm. And for me, I have a journal. I have a journal. I have a planner. I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of projecting. I do a lot of setting a day up just to create, or I set a day up just to do writing. I set a day up. So I'm pretty good about time management, and that's basically what a planning a simple week is, your content rhythm. Monday, making Monday studio shots. Now that could be like on Mondays, hey, this is going to be my take pictures day. So for me, with my product for Jewelry by BDK, I take very professional pictures to sell my product, and also I sell the images of my products on iStock. On iStock, and then there's 2 other websites that I sell my images on. So Monday's studio shots day. Wednesday could be work in progress day. Friday could be finished piece plus a story day. Now this is specific to me, not specific to you. You pick the days that work for you. And then you just kind of, you go from there. You figure out your rhythm. You find out what works for you. And then you just keep the line moving. That's all it's about, being consistent, being true to what it is that you're doing. Because what we're doing is we're building visibility. We're building awareness. The visibility checklist. Let's talk about it. Clear brand visuals and messages. There is a video on here that talks about branding, and it talks about your visuals. So that would be a really good video to go back and watch. And also social media presence, 2 to 3 platforms. I said 2 to 3 platforms max, because most people can't handle more than 2 to 3 platforms. So if you're doing YouTube, you're doing Pinterest, and you're doing maybe Instagram, that's a lot, because YouTube by itself requires a lot of work because you're making videos. Instagram is all about images. So you have to take a lot of pictures. You have to do a lot of, there's a lot of context that goes into that. And then Pinterest is all about pictures. It's all about visuals, right? So that's a lot right there. Just those 3 platforms. So you pick the platforms. You could maybe do 5 if you wanted to. Add a TikTok up in there, and any other platform you want to add. Facebook. It's about whatever and how many ever that you can handle and be consistent regularly. And that's the whole point. And that's why I chose the magic numbers of 2 and 3. At least 1 video per week. But if you're going to do more than 1 video per week, which I suggest if you're doing like YouTube long form videos, I would suggest more than 1 video per week. But if you're doing like reels and TikToks and shorts, you could do as many of those as you want to, basically using your cell phone. So that's a real easy one. So that would easily be more than 1 video per week. Customer testimonials or photos. Those are always cool to get if you can get those. Collaborations or in-person events. Those are very valuable. And if you can journey along that street, that would be great for you to do. strong product SEO. Check into maybe like Chat GPT or some other AI tool that you can use to help you to begin to be able to put out strong SEO optimization for your titles, descriptions, and such, and an active email list. So if you're doing any outside events, be sure to collect email addresses. You can do that by way of a QR code. You can do that by a sign-up sheet. You can do that by a contest. You can do that by like a giveaway or whatever it is, but collect those emails. And you just need to be visible to the right people consistently. And that is what it is all about. Your story, process, and creativity are already powerful. Let the world see it. And the only way that they can see it is you have to be visual. You have to put in the work. You have to make it all make sense and all thread together on these different platforms, offline, by email, any and every way possible. And you got to be consistent. You gotta be consistent. And that's where you win, by being consistent. Check out our business ebooks plus our monthly digital magazine, and they're available for instant download on our website at www.jbbdk.com. Darlene Knight from Jerry by BDK for JBBDK Business Tips.